99% of owners don't know this trick that calms a dog during fireworks. Her heart can slam the way a newborn's does right before you swaddle it, and there is one thing you can wrap around your dog's body tonight, before the first firework even goes off, that brings it back down in minutes. Not a pill, not an emergency vet visit, just one trick that almost none of the owners sitting on the kitchen floor right now, holding a shaking dog, have ever heard of. If your dog turns into a different animal the second the sky starts booming, pacing, drooling, trying to squeeze in behind the toilet, this is built for exactly tonight, not for someday when you finally get around to it. But before any of that works, there is a mistake almost every scared owner makes in the first 30 seconds of that first boom. And it is the reason the same dog panics worse every single year, instead of slowly getting used to it. Skip past it, and the wrap, the mat, even the sound machine end up fighting an uphill battle against a body that has already decided the danger is real and confirmed. Fix that one thing first, and everything else in this video actually works the way it is supposed to. I have been treating dogs for about 20 years, and this exact mistake walks through my clinic door every summer, wrapped in nothing but good intentions. Tell me in the comments where you are watching from right now, because in a few minutes you will know exactly what to grab off your own shelf tonight before the sky even starts. The mistake is the hug. The second that first boom hits, almost every owner drops to the floor, wraps both arms tight around the dog, and starts talking in that frantic voice, it's okay, I'm here, I'm here. It feels like the obvious thing to do. It is also, physiologically, close to the worst thing you can do. A lot of owners were taught that comforting a frightened animal works like comforting a crying toddler, that if you rush in and soothe it, you risk rewarding the tantrum and teaching it to happen again. That rule was built for behavior. Panic is not behavior. It is a body running a chemical alarm it did not choose to run, and a tight hug from a tense owner does not calm that alarm. It confirms it. Your dog reads your body before a single word lands, and a stiff arm and a shaking voice tell her there really is something worth being afraid of. If you have felt guilty every year for not fixing this sooner, let that go tonight. Noise sensitivity is wired into a dog long before she ever meets you, and some of the most confident dogs I treat still panic at a bang they cannot see coming and cannot predict, regardless of how much training or love went into raising them. It is not a training failure, and it is not a reflection on you. You did not cause this, and you cannot love it out of her either, no matter how many nights you have already tried sitting beside her. The fact that you are watching this 2 nights before the next round of fireworks, instead of scrambling for answers while she is already shaking under the bed, already puts you ahead of most of the owners who walk into my clinic the morning after, wishing they had found this sooner. So if the hug does not work, what actually does? The answer is not in what you say to her. It is in what her body is already doing underneath all of it, whether you notice or not. And that is not a small distinction. It is the entire reason one owner's dog calms down in minutes tonight, and another's spirals for hours. A sudden noise fires the amygdala before your dog has any real time to think, the small alarm center deep in the brain whose entire job is to react first and sort out the details later. It is the same wiring that once sent a wild ancestor bolting from a real predator, just misfiring now at a firework instead. She is not choosing to panic, any more than you choose to flinch at the sudden slam of a door. That firing dumps adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormone, straight into her system, and that is exactly what spikes her heart rate, her breathing, her drooling, long before you even reach for her. None of that responds to a soothing tone of voice, because a voice is not the input her body is asking for. It is looking for something physical, something it can actually feel, proof that the danger has already passed. Firm, even pressure across the torso. The same principle behind swaddling a newborn competes directly with that alarm and starts pulling her heart rate back down within minutes, not hours. Repetitive licking works on a different channel, triggering a steady release of endorphins, the brain's own calming chemicals, which is why a dog working a lick mat can look almost sedated inside of 2 minutes. A steady hum in the background does something else again. It does not touch the nervous system directly. It simply removes the trigger, smoothing the unpredictable crack of every firework under a sound her brain has already decided is safe enough to ignore. That is the whole trick working underneath, and in a moment you are going to see it show up as 3 small physical signs, long before real panic ever starts. A calm body against hers beats a frantic voice every single time. That single idea is the whole trick. Everything else is just how you put it into practice. Say that back to yourself the next time the sky lights up, because in the middle of a real scare, it is easy to forget and reach for your voice instead of her body. That trick works best when you catch the fear early, and early looks smaller than most owners expect. Panting and pacing, with no heat and no exertion behind it, is usually the first sign, and it is easy to write off since plenty of dogs pant hard after a good play session too, even in an air-conditioned room where none of that should be happening. What separates it here is restlessness that will not settle no matter what you offer her. If your dog does this and you have never caught it before tonight, you are not overreacting by paying attention now. And if catching this earlier is already worth something to you, go ahead and hit subscribe and like before we keep going. It costs nothing, and it just means more owners searching at midnight find this before their dog's worst night instead of after it. Sudden drooling that seems to come from nowhere, wetting the floor or your own hands, is a stress signal, not thirst, and it is worth noticing the moment it starts. Squeezing into a tight space, behind the toilet, under the tub, deep in the back of a closet, is not her being dramatic. It is an old denning instinct doing exactly what it is built to do, and it is her own body asking for the same pressured feeling the wrap is about to give her on purpose. Dilated pupils and a posture pinned low to the ground separate ordinary alertness from real fear, and most dogs stop right there. But a dog who cannot be redirected at all, who will not take a treat, who will not settle even once removed from the noise entirely, or who claws at a door or a window hard enough to draw blood, has crossed out of fear and into a full panic response. That dog needs a veterinarian, possibly a veterinary behaviorist, not another home trick, and no wrap in the world replaces that call. For the dogs still reachable, the ones pacing and drooling and hiding, but not yet at that line, here is what happens if nothing changes. Left alone, a mild startle the first year rarely stays mild. It generalizes. So the dog who once only reacted to fireworks starts reacting to thunder, to the microwave beeping, to a car backfiring 3 streets over. Left alone longer, it tends to spill into destructive escape attempts, chewed door frames, torn blinds, dogs who go missing after clearing a fence mid-show and turn up days later, if they turn up at all. At its worst, I have treated dogs with broken teeth and torn nails from clawing at a crate for hours straight, and a baseline anxiety that never fully resets, showing up even on ordinary days that have nothing to do with fireworks at all. I had a 10-year-old terrier mix come through my clinic, Biscuit, who used to claw the back door hard enough to draw blood every single 4th of July. His owner started the wrap and a frozen lick mat 2 nights before the next holiday, just to let him get used to the feeling first, in a quiet house with nothing booming outside. By the 3rd rehearsal night, he settled into that wrap in under 10 minutes, on his own bed, without anyone holding him down at all. I will also tell you about Maple, a young retriever, because I do not want to oversell any of this. Maple still needed a referral to a veterinary behaviorist, because even wrapped snugly, she kept trying to launch herself through a screen window. This trick helps most dogs. It is not a ceiling for every dog, and that honesty matters more than a tidy ending. For every dog like Biscuit, though, here is exactly how the 3 pieces go together, in the order that actually makes them work. None of it needs to be expensive, and none of it needs a trip to the store tonight if you already own a plain t-shirt and have something in the freezer she is allowed to lick. Set everything up before the first boom, not during it, because a wrap introduced mid-panic barely helps once her body is already running the alarm at full volume. The first piece is the pressure wrap, put on about 30 minutes before the fireworks are expected to start. A snug t-shirt works fine, or a purpose-made wrap if you already own one, and the fit matters more than the fabric. Snug enough that 2 fingers slide flat under it against her chest, never tight enough to press on her breathing. Small dogs usually need the shirt sleeves knotted at the back to hold that fit. Medium dogs often fit a child's extra small shirt turned backwards. Large dogs generally need a correctly sized wrap rather than a shirt stretched over a bigger chest, since the fabric has to stay even to actually do its job. The second piece is the frozen lick mat, and the filling matters as much as the mat itself. A thin layer of plain canned pumpkin, plain unsweetened yogurt, or peanut butter you have actually checked the label on works well. Frozen solid for at least 2 hours so the licking takes real time instead of 30 seconds. Read that peanut butter label closely. Xylitol, sometimes listed as birch sugar, hides in a lot of sugar-free peanut butter, and even a small amount can crash a dog's blood sugar and damage her liver within the hour. So when in doubt, skip it and use the yogurt instead. The third piece is sound. A fan, a white noise machine, or the television at a normal volume, switched on before the first firework, never after, in whatever room she already treats as her safest spot. Skip essential oil diffusers here, even if they are marketed as calming. Oils like tea tree, pine, cinnamon, and eucalyptus are toxic to dogs, and a stressed dog in a closed room cannot simply get up and leave the smell behind. Never give her a human sedative or anti-anxiety medication without your vet's direct say-so. Over-the-counter options like diphenhydramine are unreliable for real anxiety and unsafe for dogs with heart disease, high blood pressure, or glaucoma. Here is the detail that actually decides whether tonight works. Put the wrap on 30 minutes early and check the fit with 2 fingers flat against her chest. Snug, but never tight. Most dogs visibly settle. Slower breathing, a looser body, within 5 to 15 minutes once all 3 pieces are running together, though the very first attempt is often the weakest one, simply because she has not yet learned that the wrap means safety. There is a whole industry built around this exact fear. Pricey calming chews, imported vests, gadgets pushed hard every single June, most of them implying that a plain shirt and a frozen mat could not possibly be enough on their own. In my clinic, the wrap and the lick mat outperform most of what sits on that shelf near the register because pressure and licking work on her actual physiology, not on marketing copy. That does not mean every dog is fine with a shirt and a snack. It means the expensive product is rarely the first, or the cheapest, thing worth trying first. Do not throw all 3 pieces at her for the very first time on the actual night of the fireworks either. Put the wrap on during a calm evening first, so it earns a positive association before it has to compete with real panic. Then add the lick mat on a second calm night, and only bring in the sound layer once she is comfortable with both. That repeated stress, night after night, without a plan, does not stay contained to fireworks. It can suppress her appetite, upset her digestion, and add to a stress load that shows up later as reactivity toward other dogs or people. Roughly 1 in 2 dogs develops noise sensitivity serious enough to need real management by middle age, which means the dog shaking on your floor tonight is closer to the rule than the exception. So tell me one word in the comments: hide, shake, bolt, or bark. Whatever your dog does the second that first firework goes off. If this saves you from another year of sitting on the floor feeling helpless, hit subscribe and like before you go. Not for me, just because it means one more scared dog gets found by an owner searching at midnight the way you were tonight. Practice the wrap once on a quiet evening before the next loud night catches you off guard, so it already means safety to her by the time it matters. Set it up early, keep the mat ready in the freezer, and let her settle into your hand, calm, breathing slow, finally still, long before the sky outside finishes.